Hello, everyone. Welcome to GA's Tea Time. We discuss all things General Hospital. If you haven't already, please hit the bell notification. The like and subscribe really helps the channel. And I want to send a special thank you for everybody that has already subscribed. So, guys, let's get our teacups, let's get our snacks, and let's get ready to discuss our favorite characters. General Hospital Daily Recap, Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. So, guys, a bunch of folks in this episode. We have some Brennan, some Nina, some Cullum. So, let's see what our favorite bunch of characters are up to. Can you believe Willow is telling Alexis that she has to give Scout back, right? She's telling her, no, this Scout needs to come home because her father really wants her to be here. Okay, when did he say that? But anyway, Alexis had a valid point. Alexis was like, okay, but Drew, when are you gonna have time to watch her? You're gonna go to Washington, you're gonna do all this stuff, you got your kids back, da da da. So she's just like, she's gonna figure it out, but she needs to be home because, she knows it'd be good for Drew. Alexis disagrees. She says she doesn't think this is a good environment for a child, which I agree with Alexis. And Willow just kind of gently put her foot down, kind of one of those, either you gonna do this, it's gonna happen. And then she did tell Alexis that, she would lift the restraining orders for everybody so that the whole family can see her. So Alexis wasn't happy with this, but she understood what was going on, that she really didn't have much to say about it. So she told Willow she'd bring Scout over tomorrow to, she kind of get her ready for having to make this transition again. This is the time Alexis needs to go and file charges to get custody of this baby. This is the best time because before I understood it was her father. This woman is not, I understand she's her legal guardian, but her father's incapacitated. I think Alexis will have a stronger case. She at least needs to look into this. But I really wish they would stop using Scout as a pawn in this silly game that everybody's playing. Guys, I really do enjoy making these videos. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Nina came by. Nina is sitting over there. She's telling Willow, she's all distraught. She's like almost in tears. And she was like, Willow, to help you out, I had to make an agreement with a bad person. So first Willow was like, to help me out with what? So she told Willow it was to get rid of that video of her being in front of Drew's house. So Willow had a flashback of her pow pow and Drew. So she understood what was going on. So she was like, but for her to get that video taken down, she had to make an agreement that she would get information from Charlotte and she would have to portray Charlotte and Valentine, and that's really making Nina upset because she says she really cares for them. So Willow was really like, oh, like, I know I don't say it enough, but thank you so much. I know, see how much you care for me and all the things that you'll do for me. Whatever. What Lisa, before she went to that medical conference, was 100% right. You need to take care of your child. Like, she's all in everybody else's business. She needs to leave Charlotte alone. I feel like, why can't you just lie? Tell him anything. Like, say she saw him in south of France. I don't understand why she got to give him legitimate information. But this is going to blow up in Nina's face. Christina and Molly are at Charlie's. Christina had asked Molly to come over and help her with the last minute touches of getting Charlie's ready for this grand opening, and Cody was supposed to come help them later. So while they're there, Molly is in the pain because she got endometriosis, and she's just like, she's just pushing through. Christina was like, you should have told me, but then she was like, oh, I know why you didn't tell me because of that whole thing with the baby and stuff like that. But you know what? I have to say, Christina's finally taken some responsibility. She did say, the way she was acting selfishly and stuff like that. I'm glad Christina got some kind of taking some kind of responsibility for that, but that's side notice. Anyway, Christina had to leave because she got some kind of business call. Cody had came in, and Molly was before Christina left. Molly was telling Christina she didn't want to tell Cody she had the condition because it's a new relationship. She didn't want to load him down with stuff and things like that. So anyway, Christina had to leave for shortly, and then Cody came in. Cody was trying to do everything for Molly. He was like, let's eat, get some lunch, but she was barely eating because she was in pain. Cody stepped out because he said he had a gift for her, and he brought in this big, huge bushel of flowers. They were really pretty. And then from there, Molly was just like, she passed out on the floor. So, and Cody's like, what is going on? So we're going to see what happens with that. Now, what I was thinking, she's thinking the pain is because of that. could Molly be pregnant? That would be interesting to see because I would love for Molly to be pregnant. I know her and Cody just got into this relationship like 35 seconds ago, but if she could have a baby, that would be nice. That would be a nice story. I mean, at least it'd be a happier ending to the other thing that happened before with the other baby. Because at least this would be her baby. She ain't gonna worry about somebody trying to snatch it up and all types of stuff like that. But that's my side note. I don't know if Molly's pregnant or not. We'll see what happens. Hopefully she's okay. Charlotte overheard the whole conversation between Brennan and Nina, where Brennan was basically kind of almost yelling at Nina, telling her she had to get that information from Charlotte and on Valentine. He needs to know where he's at. So Nina again expressed that she didn't want to do this, but Brennan was giving her no choice. He said, if you don't do this, that whole video with Willow is going to drop out of nowhere, and I'm going to let everybody know that she was outside of his house, right? So she ain't going to be nobody's congresswoman or nothing else. So Nina is all distraught. And as soon as Brennan left, she calls Charlotte in and she says, remember when I told you don't tell anybody about where your father's at? She was like, I need to know where he's at because I need to give him some information. So Charlotte was kind of like, no, I don't know where he's at. But she said it real kind of sarcastically. And Nina could tell that she was lying. So I don't know. Nina might start trying to follow Charlotte around. She gonna try anything, everything to get this information out of Charlotte. So we'll see what happens with this. Just a side note, guys. Jacinda is the queen of getting some free, right? So she in Monday's episode, she was on the phone with the lady, and she was kind of like, yeah, if I make sure your phone call goes through, or if Nina shows up or whatever like that, she was like, what are you gonna give us? So that was one thing. Today's show, she goes, can you send us some samples for that sample closet? So she just be getting her little freebies. But anyway, Nina said that she was going to take Charlotte over to the Quartermain so Charlotte could spend some time with Danny, right? Um, Jacinda was volunteer. She said, well, I could take her over there because she wants to go spend some time with Michael. So Jacinda takes her over there, and Danny and Charlotte get to talking. And Danny was just telling her, asked Charlotte, did she hear anything about her father? So she was like, yeah, Nina's still up to it. And she was like, what Nina don't know is I'm a Cassadine and this is going to work against her. So Charlotte getting ready to put her little ways back in motion. We already know what those ways are because look what she did to poor Anna. So she going to terrorize Nina. I just hope she don't get hurt in the process, but I'm sure she going to get Nina back somehow, some way. So Michael and Jacinda were in there smooching on each other. And Christina comes walking in. Christina's all flustered because she's like, you know what, Charlie's liquor license expired and she needs some help getting a new license. So Michael went and made some phone calls and he was able to get her license expedited. Christina was thanking Jacinda and Michael, and Jacinda was like, I didn't do anything, but she was like, no, you helped me get dressed. She's like, I'm ready to offer this Charlie's opener. So Christina's more at ease. She's able to get Charlie's open and going. Marco was telling Lucas that he wasn't able to get the medication, but he's working on it, right? That Cullum had called him, so he had to go over there and see what Cullum wanted. Lucas is asking him, you know what? He was like, I don't want to put you. The other thing Marco was just concerned about, he was like, if he get this medication, he feel like he gonna lose his father. I feel like he gonna lose his life. I think Marco is underestimating his father. I think he thinks that his father loves him so much that he would just kick him out of his life. I think the father probably would just get rid of him. But anyway, um, Lucas is kind of like, look, I don't want to put you in this kind of position. Let me just go do it. And Marco's like, no, he could do it. Just give him a little time. He gonna get up in there and get the medication, and then they gonna be able to get out of that house, right, away from his father and everything like that. Marco did say the one thing he kept on saying he's not like his father. Now he's all wrapped up in everything that his father's doing. So maybe Marco is telling the truth. Because at first I thought he was kind of splitting the line, and later on he gonna be over there on his father's side. But maybe Marco's truthful and he really is trying to help Lucas because he cares about him. But I feel like these two is gonna be in a world of trouble if they turn against Sidwell. As much as Marco think his father love him, I don't know how much. And Lucas, he don't love him at all. So he's definitely going to be gone. So whatever they plan is, they better hurry up and go do it. Jason was talking to Michael and he was asking Michael, listen, if something happens to me, I need you to step in and be like a male figure in my son's life. So Michael's kind of like, what could happen to you? Like, do you want to tell me something? So Jason was like, no, just, I just want to be on the safe side, blah, blah, blah. We all know that Jason lived this wild life. So I guess nobody's really kind of really thinking about it. Jason's been involved in so many um, back for the dead storylines that I'm sure they were like, okay, you know what, we'll watch out for Danny. And that's what Michael said. He said he'll watch out for him. Danny was on his way out the door and he saw Josh. So Josh was like, where you going? You know, so he was like, oh, I'm going over to your mom's house to drop off Donna's scarf. So Josh was like, "Don't go over there." So, but she didn't want to say don't go over because Valentine's over there. So, but she just was like, "No, my mother said she's gonna be with Brennan, and you don't want to walk it on that." So Danny was like, "Thanks, for letting me know, whatever." But Danny was telling her that he was grounded and that he was just looking for a way to get out the house, and Josh could understand. She said she'd been in the same boat, blah blah blah. So later on, Josh went in and she was speaking to Jason because that was the reason why she came over to the Quartermains. And she was basically asking Jason, was you able to get Valentina out of that house? And he was like, your mother, he was like, your mother is, when she got her mind set on something, that's what she got it set on. So Josh was like, this is dangerous. She needs to get out. And he was like, what are you going to do? And Jason was like, I can't do nothing. This is what she wants to do. This is what it is. And they left it at that, which is the truth. Josh is just like her mother. She wants to be in this silly WSB, and Carly wants to get her out, and she's not gonna hear nothing else. But that's her mission. That's what she's gonna do. Josh might as well hang up her WSB badge and go do something else, because her mother's gonna get her out of that. So there was a lot of Cullum. Everybody in town was meeting with him today. So first it started off with Britt. But before he started talking to Britt, Carly was funny. Carly was like, I thought you was moving out. And Britt was just like, not yet, kind of, her little stink stuff. So Cullum comes chasing after Britt and says to her, I'm happy with your results, but you need to move quicker because, we got your medication and this and that. So Britt was like, there's no need for threats. I'm doing it. He was like, yeah, but you need to move quicker. So Britt left. Cullum comes back inside, gets his coffee. He's sitting at the table, right? Next thing you know, Brendan is looking through the door. Brendan comes in and starts talking to him about Sidwell. So Cullum was like, do you got any more information? He was like, no, that dried up, blah, blah, blah. I don't have no more information about that. He went back there to talk to Carly because he told Cullum he was there to have lunch with Carly. So as he's back there with Carly, him and Carly, Brendan and Carly are looking at Cullum, right? It's just like they having like what's going on. So she's like, who's that? Carly already knows who he is, but she can't tell Brendan that. He was just like, there's somebody you need to stay away from. Marco comes in, talks to Cullum. So I'm just like, what is going on? What happened to this little secret meeting thing? So anyway, Cullum tells him, Marco did say to him, are we supposed to be meeting in secret? Is anybody supposed to know we don't have any connection? He was like, no, don't worry about it. Just tell people that I'm looking into Sidwell and you were one of the people I'm talking to. So Marco was like, all right. So he's asking Marco about an update with the whole thing with Sidwell and taking care of Sonny. And he's like, it's still the same way, there's no changes and stuff like that. Marco had to step away. He came back and he had overheard Cullum because Josh came in. Josh is talking to him. So Josh is speaking like she's like the stupid college student. And she was like, oh, you know what? My schedule, I forgot. I left and she's leaving. But as she had before she left, Marco overhears Cullum and her talking about she was on Windermere and stuff like that. So Marco is like, she was there. She don't know. He was like, don't worry about it. She don't know who I am. Carly was looking out, saw Josh come in, and he was like, Brendan looked like he was gonna pass out because he was just like, oh my goodness, don't say nothing. But because Josh left, Carly was like, what's going on? And she was like, she can't even speak to her mother. She played it off like she didn't know what was going on. Brendan was like, it's good Josh left because she don't need to be around that man. That man is dangerous. So Carly was like, well, who is he? But he wasn't giving them further information. So Brendan digging that hole. Carly know all this stuff. When she tells him that she knows everything, he is gonna get Carly hellfire. That's what's gonna happen to him. You know what's gonna happen. He gonna get yelled at, screamed at, and everything else. But anyway, that was it for the Cullum. I was like, there was a lot of sneaking around this episode. Britt was telling Jason that they had to hurry up with their plan because that was it. Cullum wants this thing done quickly. Jason was telling her everything's in order, that he got a place for them to stay. We just need the medication. We can get out of here. Which is okay. I cannot believe that Jason is putting Britt over his son. I'm sorry. I do not agree with that. Sam is gone. I understand he wants to help Britt. He can help Britt. get her the medication and send her on her way for a while until the smoke clears. Him going away and leaving Danny with everybody else but him is just straight out right wrong. I do not agree with that. But anyway, they called Lucas over and they said to Lucas, you know, are you hurry up, get this medication? Lucas said he got marker on it. We gonna see what happens. I feel like they're all gonna get caught and whatever, but I do not agree with Jason leaving his son like that. Well, guys, what did you think about this episode? What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? My least favorite part is Jason saying he gonna leave his son to help Britt out. They could have figured out a better way. That's just not right. Um, and don't forget to hit that bell notification and then like and subscribe because it really helps the channel. And thank you for joining us again at GHT time. Till next time, guys. Bye.